Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be making some pumpkin cheesecake from scratch. This starts with some fresh sugar pumpkin. I cut it in half. I took the seeds out. I'm going to roast it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 to 30 minutes. This being a small one, I'm thinking it'll be closer to 20, but I'm going to check it after 20 and see if it needs a little bit longer. So that's the first step. It's crust time, people. So I like to use pre-crushed graham crackers. Maybe it's cheating, but it is an amazing invention that I just discovered existed not too long ago. Also, I don't have a springform pan. Don't let that deter you. The cheesecake is just as delicious out of a regular pie plate. So we are going to have 1 1/4 cups of graham crackers, 1 1/4 cup of sugar. I like to mix those together before I add the butter. You're going to do 4 tablespoons of butter, and the butter should be melted. And this is the fun part. Here goes the melted butter. Oh yeah. Then we'll mix that up really well. We want it to kind of be almost a pasty texture so that it will just press into the pie plate. Just kind of crumbly and sandy, but to where it, when you push it like that, it'll kind of stick together. All right, we're ready to go in. So we're just going to put that into the pie tin like so. I like to use my fingers for this part, just make sure it's all well mixed there, and press it down. I like to press it down pretty evenly along the bottom and get some going up the sides as well. Some people prefer just to have a bottom crust on their cheesecake, and that's fine. You know, you could adjust the ratios of graham cracker and sugar and butter and just, you know, do a little bit less and have a bottom crust, or you could even have a thicker bottom crust as well. So once this is done, it's going to go into a 350-degree oven for 9 to 10 minutes. All right, so our pumpkins are roasted and ready to come out. We're just gonna poke them real quick with the fork and double check that they are ready to go. Oh yeah, feel nice and soft. The fork goes through super easy. Then we're gonna put in our pie crust. We're gonna set that timer for 10 minutes. We want the edges to be nice and golden brown, so we might go for a little bit longer. You know, every oven is a little bit different. 10 minutes, here we go. Crust is on the way. So you want about a teaspoon of ground nutmeg. About a tablespoon of cinnamon is already in the bowl. All right, we have cloves here. We're going to do about a ½ teaspoon of cloves. You can adjust the recipe to whatever your tastes are, but those little guys on the top are what you're looking to grind there. I'll probably do a couple more in there to make sure and get plenty of clovey flavor. I like to use fresh ginger, so I'm going to just use a microplane, and I'm going to grind down some ginger into there, about a teaspoon. But if you go a little bit more, I personally feel like you really can't have too much. The ginger is amazing. It's such a great flavor to go in the pumpkin pie. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt going into the mix here. If it's a teeny smidge more, a little extra salt never hurts. So next we're gonna put the pumpkin that we had roasted previously into the blender, along with our spice mix and a tablespoon of vanilla. And then we're gonna blend it up. Make sure and get all your little peels off. Beep. Don't wanna hurt anybody's peelings. The recipe calls for a cup. I might be a smidge short of that, but we're okay with it. Usually when you do things from scratch, they tend to have a little bit more flavor anyway. But I think it'll be right about a cup with this one little sugar pumpkin here. And we're gonna put in our spice mix from earlier with the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the ginger, and the clove. And 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Now normally if I was just doing a pumpkin puree, I wouldn't do the vanilla. I would just do the spices and the pumpkin, but the vanilla goes into the recipe, so we're adding it in when we blend it. All right, our crust has been in for 10 minutes. Oh yeah, we got a nice golden brown all the way around. Looking good. We're ready to make our filling. So we start with 4 room temperature 8-ounce bricks of cream cheese in the bowl and 1 1/4 cups sugar. We're gonna blend that until it's smooth on low speed. And that'll just take a couple minutes. All right, so it's nice and smooth now. You can see a nice smooth consistency here. And we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of flour. And we're just gonna mix that until just mixed. We don't wanna over mix on the flour portion of it. We're not gonna go super high on it, just about medium low speed. We'll scrape the bowl here and that's pretty good. You just barely want it mixed in there. Then we are going to add our pumpkin puree that we made earlier. You definitely can use canned pumpkin. You can also use just a pumpkin spice as well, a pre-mixed pumpkin spice. If you do the pre-mixed pumpkin spice, you want 2 tablespoons of that. And if you use the canned mix, you want 1 can of pumpkin puree. And now we're gonna blend that until well mixed. We have our cream cheese and our pumpkin mix all mixed up. We have 4 eggs at room temperature. We're gonna add these 1 at a time and we're gonna mix them until just mixed. You can put all 4 in a bowl and just add 1 at a time. It does work that way, but it's very important that the eggs are room temperature so you don't get clumps in your cream cheese. So we have our filling all nice and incorporated here, and we are going to put it into our pie dish with the crust that we had baked previously. Oh yeah, rich and decadent. You know, some recipes call for sour cream, and I am just all about lots of cream cheese in a cheesecake. Oh yeah.
Oh, cameraman might have ruined the take there.
It's ready to go in the oven. We're gonna put it in the oven while it's still set at 350. And then we're gonna turn the oven down. Oops, sorry. We're gonna turn the oven down to 300. We're gonna bake it for 45 minutes. Very important, do not open the oven during this 45 minutes. And then once the 45 minutes is up, turn the oven off and leave it in there for 2 hours. That'll prevent cracking. A lot of times they'll use a water bath to prevent the cracking, but this is one way that you can get away from using the water bath. It just means that you have to have it in the oven for almost 3 hours. Here's the final product. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Much love.